Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson, episode 5 in our Fat Loss Basics series. And we're going to turn to cardio. We have so many episodes, probably, Adam, that touch on cardio in different ways. But for a beginner, for Fat Loss Basics, I'm going to start with what I like to tell people, because I have a couple clients who just started this week and we're going through these conversations. And I like to say, look, let's start out with a minimum amount, because we're just starting this whole calorie deficit fat loss journey. And I want to leave room for progressing intensity, get you more athletic, get you moving with a little bit more, as I said, intensity as we move forward. And we will also increase duration and maybe frequency a little bit. So I may have a top end in mind, but I want to build there slowly so that we're preserving, risk against injury. We're allowing the person to actually gain conditioning from a cardiovascular level. But I particularly try and say, let's keep your most intense cardio to around your training time. So whether it's a little bit of intense cardio before as a warm-up, or a little bit after, or maybe some interval type work in your workouts, and then maybe at another time during the day, we can do a lower steady state kind of cardio just to be active, maybe even something more moderate. But I'm not somebody who likes to just slam multiple high intensity, high work training episodes in somebody's day. I just think that's a recipe for overtraining.
Yeah, it's got to be slow and progressive, just like you wouldn't put calories right out the gates. And I treat cardio the same way. Especially with men. Men have a tendency to get a little more out of shape in the off season. So you got to consider, maybe just because this person can do a 8-minute hit interval doesn't mean that they should. Their joints are going to take a toll, and they're probably not even going to be that conditioned for it. I always find it's best to be gradual, depending on that person's fitness level. I may be very strict on the modes and intensities that I give them, just to make sure that their joints get lubricated, they get used to this type of activity, and then we can, like you said, we have something to increase later. So I really always turn my head when I had a girl sign up with me last week. She had signed up with a new coach. She hadn't even been prepping, but she was already up to an hour of cardio a day. And she was like, I haven't even been doing any cardio. And of course, what was the first thing that happened? Her joints and shins started really hurting. So there was no deviation to that plan whatsoever when those side effects started happening. So she came to me, and that was one of the first things we pulled back, is we've got to get you used to this. So it's that kind of stuff is still out there to this day, unfortunately.
I remember back in those early days of bodybuilding, and everybody was just simply chunking out cardio in terms of hours. So if you did cardio, it was an hour of cardio. And I remember nothing just pushes you into overtraining faster than that, where you just constantly feel beat up, tired, way hungrier than you have to. And I probably don't have people do more than 30 minutes very often. It's, you can have smaller bouts of it. You can include higher intensity work, moderate intensity work, high intensity interval sessions. But if you're cycling through the different levels of intensity, frequency, and duration to maximize fat loss, just those mind-numbing, just soul-crushing hours of cardio, I don't even think they're helpful. I mean, I remember seeing people dwindle away in terms of muscle size and muscle mass doing that kind. So what do you like to do in terms of cycling through intensity and duration?
Yeah, I like to keep duration as short as possible if I can. But at that point, you do have to have intensity markers to do that. So it's really a balance. It really depends on the person, though, too, depending on what their body can handle. You are going to have some people who can handle HIIT just a little bit better than others. Oftentimes, if I get a CrossFitter interested in bodybuilding, I know they're good for some really good, brutal intensity. And they're probably going to enjoy it because they're just freaks. You know, they push harder than anybody else. But if I get somebody that's a little more sedentary than that, we're not going to hit those intensity markers out the gate. So it's really a balance. It's very variable per person.
Yeah, I would say as a maximum for me, I'm starting slower than this, but I build up clients to where they may be doing 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20 at the very top, in conjunction with their training. So whether, again, that's part of their warm up or that's after training, but it's 10 to 15 minutes of pretty progressive, aggressive work. And then we have another session of the day, if needed, maybe 5 days a week. So there are some rest intervals there. And then that's going to be more moderate. Some days it may be a light jog for 20 minutes. Some days it may be just a long walk for 30 to 40 minutes. But that's the time to just move, but leave the high intensity for your training sessions, where you're sandwiching those sessions with great nutrition, pre-workout, carbohydrates, post-workout. So you really stay as anabolic as possible. And then the rest to me is just active recovery. It's burning an extra 200 to 300 calories where we can get it, but we have to focus on staying fresh and just unbroken by overtraining.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind, some people will be walking at a brisk pace, and that they'll get past that eventually. It doesn't take very long, but there are people who shock their body. I've seen it multiple times, even with competitors. Hey, I'm sore from my cardio, and they're not that intense yet.
Right. All right, Adam, thank you for that. And we will see you guys next time. We're gonna transition over to set points and plateaus. What do you do when you're stuck? So we'll see you then.